Well, hey, this is Mike Mahoney here from Byrnes Consulting. Thanks for joining us today. And I'm here today with Mike Byrnes.
Hey, glad to be here. Yeah, president of Byrnes Consulting. I'm super happy to have Mike joining us. This is our second in a series of video discussions. Mike did an awesome one yesterday, so go on YouTube and find it if you haven't seen it.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks. Hey, and thanks for taking the time today to share some ideas with us. So you recently had an article that was published in the Financial Planning Association Journal of Financial Planning, which really talked about how advisors should be communicating with their clients right now. The title, Three Important Business Tips in the Age of the Coronavirus. So really ideas about how to communicate with clients, how to kind of, protect your business and how to grow your business in these crazy times that we're going through right now, times of crisis. So we thought it'd be a good idea to bring you on and talk about some of the details on what that article was about, give you a chance to get into some of the nuts and bolts of it. So, so how important really is it to be talking to clients right now? What are some of the best ways that you want to engage with them?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch there. I wrote the article because the Byrnes Consulting is part of the FPA's Coaches Corner, and we have business growth strategies. And really, to grow, one of the most important things is to be personable and to be proactive. And there's no better time than in a crisis to do that. What we found though is most advisors are spread too thin, so they're putting out fires and they're talking to their clients all the time, so they don't have the foundation in place to be able to do the outreach with their prospects, and actually they should even get their clients talking about them too. I know you had a lot. Where do you want me to go first?
No, I'm sorry, Mike. That's actually kind of interesting that you mentioned that, because you're used to working in an office setting where you've got a support team around you, right? And you've got the tools and the technology around you, and now you're working from home, so you just don't have that. So, are there some technologies that we should be using that can help make this an easier process?
Yeah, I think like we said in yesterday's recording, use Zoom, freeconferencecall.com, Google Hangouts, GoToMeeting, Skype, whatever it is. A lot of them are free even, and they allow you to do these recordings. I think when we used to do tests with our clients, with advisors, to say if they were ready to do video conferencing, the big test was, all right, can you do it in 2 minutes? And I'd hang up the phone and wait for them to send it right away. And they, a lot of times it's a fire drill. Oh no, someone's in the boardroom, or I got to get the intern to be able to help me set it up. My webcam's in the other area. And there's all these excuses. Now, if you don't know this technology like the back of your hand, you're really failing your clients and your prospects. So hopefully, as terrible as a pandemic is, hopefully some good comes out of this, that people are more comfortable using this virtual technology, because it makes a huge difference. Now more than ever, and Mike, you've made a lot of phone calls to people that you know too, people are hurting. They're shut inside. Some even have had people die in their lives, and it's a really hard time. More than ever, those clients and prospects need to see you. And as you know, we can't physically see each other. So.
And that's where you talk about being personable, right? So maybe share a little bit about how that would look in a client conversation.
Yeah, and it piggybacks on what you discussed yesterday, and you gave advice on wholesalers and how they should work with advisors. But really, I said it yesterday, is humans want to work with humans. And so if you're not making that personal connection, you're missing a huge opportunity. Now's really not the time to pitch product or services. It's really a time to make those personal connections. One of the things that we really recommend is, obviously phone calls are important, but you can't see facial expressions. There are some people that might not want to do a video chat because they're afraid to show that their kids are running around crazy in the background, or their house isn't as professional looking. I'm purposely doing these from the kitchen instead of my office, so we have the feel, working from home. I work from home anyways, but that's the real secret, is to show that human side. So if they're open to it, encourage that you maybe get a virtual tour of their house if they've never seen it, or let their kids jump on the video chat for a few minutes if they can, and get to know them. But obviously, ask them those questions of how they're doing, and just like you and I can see each other, gauge their facial expressions, because that is an amazing way to read how people are doing. You can't always trust the words.
And are you're talking about the portfolios that they own, what their financial situations look like? What are some of the other topics that you might want to get into at this point in time?
Yeah, I wrote an article, not that I had a crystal ball or anything, but I wrote an article in the fall about how to prepare for a recession. And it's just because we were riding high for so long and we all knew it was going to come. But one of the things that I said in that article was, you really need to be proactive in preparing your clients for a recession. And you can see from the clients and the advisors that we're talking to, the ones that are running around with their hair on fire, probably didn't do as great of a job as preparing their client base for this. Now, that being said, every client base has someone that's on the edge and needs to be pulled off the ledge. They're afraid of what's going on, and they should be. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question, but there's definitely things that advisors should have done in advance. Now it's too late to tell you that advice. Hopefully everyone read that article in the fall, but I doubt they did. But now what can you do? If you're okay, I'd love to talk about personalized video emails if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So emails, blasting out a video are wonderful that have, the video is uploaded to YouTube or Vimeo, and then it's embedded in your website, and that goes out to the public. Those videos are great because it's a mass communication. You get it off your chest. But now more than ever, people need that personal touch, and that's really what is going to differentiate you from a robo-advisor or even a generic, real person advisor. So we create a partnership with BombBomb. So if you go look at bombomb.com/Byrnes Consulting, or you can go to byrnesconsulting.com and /email and find a whole bunch of articles there on this. But the reality is these personalized video emails allow you to have a one-way communication. So it doesn't replace face-to-face, but it's just something that you add to your service offering. And people love them. They haven't received them. Most people haven't received them for a business reason. At least the boomers and the Gen Xers, if you're talking millennials, they've used tools like Snapchat or Instagram that are blowing up. So there's a reason you can learn from those younger people. But personalized video emails are a wonderful way to get that message across that is work related, but also customize it. How are you? And name off everyone in that household's all their names, the kids, the family. Like you have the great picture of your kids in the background. Those are things that you want to make that personal connection, because that's almost as important as what you're going to deliver from a work-related conversation.
So Mike, tell me, are you creating one video for each client or household that you would be communicating with, or is there a blanket one that would go out that is then followed up with some type of a personal contact?
Awesome question. So the main meat of the message might be similar for 50 clients, but you're really customizing to that person. So you might say, hey, just want to let you know I'm thinking about you. I'm keeping an eye on your portfolio. Here's what we think about the markets. But I really want to make sure that you and Cindy and Jessica and Sammy are all okay. If anything's going crazy, if you need anything, please reach out to me. That personal part is the thing that you can customize to each message. So I don't believe in scripts, but you should kind of have maybe that core message you want to get across to everybody, but they're not going to know that that's going to everybody because you're personalizing the video. Does that make sense?
So what you're doing is actually having one piece of it that's uniform for everyone, but then there's a second piece you attach to it, which is customized for that particular household and the people and clients that are in that household.
Right. Now, the interesting thing is if you have 150 clients in your client base, or let's just say 100, to make a phone call to every one of those clients, or at least the households, is going to take weeks of time, or you're going to be working 18-hour days and trying to get through them all by scheduling them and leaving voicemails and having them try to get a hold of you, etc. And then when you get them on the phone, there's interactions and they go back and forth. So that's good. You still want to have those, but these personalized video emails allow you to get through the whole client base in less than a day, because you can send these quick 2-minute, you can set the timing however long you want it to be, but let's say it's a 2-minute video. If you get pretty good at the technology, which doesn't take very long to do, you can go through your whole client base and they're feeling like they're talking with you. Because again, this is technology that they're not used to. It's a big differentiator. So on top of the YouTube videos, do these personalized video emails and even do webinars. One of the things that we see and we would recommend is do the webinar and record it, just like you and I are recording this conversation. And then people don't have to watch it live. They can, and they can interact with you live. They can ask questions, etc. But if you record it, then it allows you to upload it. So it's one more thing to share. So a lot of great video related technology that people could be doing this in this pandemic.
And this doesn't replace the personal contact. This just complements it. So you're still going to pick up the phone and maybe it's a FaceTime with somebody, or maybe it's just a voice conversation where you can really get into how they're feeling, how they're doing, any kind of issues you might have to address in their financial goals.
Yeah, and the real cool thing about the technology too is it has tracking, so you can track to see who opens the email and who watches the video. And literally, there'll be times where people will watch the video 6 or 7 times. It's just a testament of how powerful these things are. And it's not like Microsoft Outlook. We put the read report on, and it pops up and says such and such wants a read report to see if you've read this email. This is different. You know, people can't see that tracking is there. So a real powerful thing, and you can see a pretty good correlation of the people that are panicking are probably not the ones that are watching your proactive outreach. So something to think
and
about.
this is probably a great way, obviously, to service the clients and help to retain clients in these very volatile times, right? But also, you know, part of the article that you had authored last fall was about growing the business and ways to, you know, to work on client acquisition. Are there some very non-threatening ways where you can speak with your clients or maybe speak with some prospects and get out there and try and identify where the opportunities might be without really making it seem too business-like?
Yeah, and we talked a little bit in advance what we would talk about in this. We purposely didn't go with the new business part up front, but it is really important now, because if we learned anything in 2008 and 2009, it was that folks can really grow in this environment. You know, when you're down 25, 30% in your clients' portfolios, and that hurts your reoccurring revenue or your whatever type of revenue you have, you're getting hurt. So it's hard to think about new business, and it's hard to think that it's possible. But in reality, if you can pick up 10 clients in an environment like this, and then you think of the life value of those clients, the market's going to eventually rebound, we hope. And in doing so, those 10 clients are going to be so profitable. So now is a wonderful time to be reaching out to them. You go first before I go. You had a couple thoughts about how to you know, wow people, or what conversations to have with prospects.
Well, I think with prospects, you really just want to talk about, you know, what their goals are, what they're trying to do, the kind of communication and information that they need, and how they're going about it. And, you know, maybe if you can, again, without being threatening, what are their advisors doing right now to help them reach those goals? And what would they like them to be doing that maybe they're not? Whether it's technology, whether it's the type of investments, I mean, many different ways to look at it. But those are some of the things that I would think about is, you know, adding the personal touch, adding the customized touch, so that, you know, all of our goals are unique. We're all trying to get to different places over different times. So if there's a way to make sure that, you know, it's customized approach to help you meet your specific financial goals in a way that's comfortable with you.
Yeah, and you nailed it. I think you said before we did this recording to say you set the seed of doubt in their current relationship if they have a financial advisor. What we also learned in 2008 and 2009 and other recessions is the advisors that are not proactive completely leave the door open for another advisor to come in and steal them away, especially if they're afraid to talk about what's going on in the market and the portfolio is being down. Now should be a time when you're doubling, quadrupling, and even more your frequency of communications. They should be good communications, but that's where a thing like personalized video emails can let those people know that you're not asleep at the switch, that you're really watching out for them. A wonderful, wonderful time to build up the personal relationship, like you said. So when we do focus groups with our clients, so we ask advisors, we ask their clients in focus groups a question related that's similar to why did you pick them? We'll ask the financial advisors and in advance, what are your clients going to say? And they'll say, well, you know what, it was that my investment process or my financial planning approach. And it's never those things. It's these 3 things. It's one, that they are trusted 2, that they're likable, and 3, that they show that they care. And all 3 of those can come through in proactive communications. You know, you're very trusting because you're there, you're showing your emotion, you're likable because you're showing that you care. Those 2 things are amazing. And if you could use a tool like personalized video emails or email or video chat or even just phone calls, you know, I think you're going to be that much better off in this type of market. I will also say, people are like, well, really, you know, now is a hard time. People would have to come in my office and they'd have to, you know, do all this stuff, and I can't really sign them up as a new client. Well, one, you should have already had the electronic infrastructure in place to be able to take them on as new clients. So get that going as fast as you can. But 2, you know, now is a wonderful time to virtually impress them. They're going to see that you're tech savvy enough to want to work with you in the future. And especially those do-it-themselvers, now they're doubting what they've been doing. You know, they always thought they were as smart as you, financial planner, financial advisor, but now they're like, what was I thinking? I really need help. So not only can you steal away those existing relationships with advisors, but you can also find those people that don't have relationships at all.
Yeah, that's great. Great advice, Mike. I know I had a manager back when I was young in the business, and he always said, you know, Mike, take yourself to your level of discomfort. You want to be uncomfortable on a regular basis, because the more comfortable you are, you get lazy, right? You start to cut corners and you take things for granted. And he always wanted me to be uncomfortable, and I think we have to do that too, right? Now, whether these are any of your advisors we're talking to that need to get better with technology, use technology that they didn't use before, figure out how to do things on their own instead of having the support crew around the office there to help them have these conversations about product and markets that are not performing well. But you got to sit there and you got to take the punches. And you know, it's not fun, but we all have to do it. And when it's done, you know, and obviously in the years that we've been in the business, we've had that experience of going out and taking our shots. It's never fun, but when it's over, the relationships you have with those people that you supported during those difficult times are always much, much stronger, and will continue to get stronger as time goes on. So I think your advice is spot on about how you need to do this.
Yeah, and to wrap it up, I think, you know, again, I wasn't a futuristic, brilliant person with a crystal ball that said a recession was coming, but I do kind of try to look at the future and where the industry is going. You know, the competition for doing what you do in your day-to-day world is going to get harder and harder and harder for financial planners, and it's going to be harder to differentiate. But some of the things that are really going to set people apart from robo-advisors and other advisors are, 1, that they're caring, 2, that they're proactive, and 3, that they really build out those personal relationships. And now is a wonderful time to figure out how this electronic version of this new world we're in can help. Last thing I'll say, and hopefully we set it up front, but you know, if there's anything we can help you do in the coronavirus pandemic world, let us know. Send us a note. We'll be glad to give you some free one-on-one consultations. It's a scary time, and we'd like to help you get through this too. So hopefully everyone's staying healthy and safe.
Mike, thank you for those comments, and you're absolutely right. Practice what we preach, which is just what we're trying to do. So anything we can do to help out, please, ByrnesConsulting.com, BYRNES, ByrnesConsulting.com. Visit the site, find out ways where you can contact Mike, contact myself, and any kind of follow-up, anything we can do. Please don't hesitate to call, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Mike. And if you are watching this on YouTube, go down the description. We'll put some of the links in stuff too, so it makes it easy for you. But thank you, everybody, for paying attention, and hopefully we're helping you.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Bye, guys.